Shalom, shalom. My name is YAH with Savior Word of Yah, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Yisrael. Welcome to our weekly Bible study. And the title of our class today is Speaking Life. Speaking life. So what we have to understand that life and death is in the power of the tongue, especially with the servants of Israel. We have a job to speak his truth, and we have to speak life. We're not to speak death. Anytime that we speak lies or we speak negativity, we put death into the air. We put things that are not true into the air. So we have to be careful, especially being the children of Israel, very careful with how we speak of Yah, to Yah, and to his children, and about him to other people. And we talk in not only our way we speak, but also our behavior, our communication, how we carry ourselves. So we have to be cognizant of that. But before we do that, we're going to get into a little bit of current affairs. We're going to look at this major sign and prophecy going on with Israel and Palestine. We know in Matthew 24, it talks about these wars and rumors of war. So there's a so-called war going on there now. With Israel, and they like to say Hamas, but it's really Israel and Palestine, because if Palestinians the ones getting killed, it doesn't matter if they with Hamas or not. Palestinians are getting killed, Israelis are getting killed, so it's a lot of stuff going over there. So we're going to take a look at that. But the first thing I want to look with that is I want to take a look at this death toll. Let's take a look at the death toll real quick. I'm going to pull up the screen, and we can just take a quick look. I want to see what the numbers are saying. All right, so I'm going to pull up the screen. This is an article from CNN. All right, let's see. We're going to look for an article. Bear with me one second. I'm pulling it up. Here we go. All right. All right, so we have this article here on CNN, and it's going to talk about these charts showing the scale of loss in this Israel, and see what they call it, Israel Hamas. Like they just got bullets and they got guns that can just go only to Hamas. Well, unfortunately, that's not really what's going on. So we about to see what's going on here. All right, so we look down here. It says it's about a month since Hamas launched its unexpected and brutal attack on Israel. More than 1,400 Israelis were killed in the assault. All right. And more than 240 were taken hostage, according to the count by Israeli officials. The Ministry of Health in Ramallah says more than 10,000 Palestinians have died in the military campaign launched in response by Israel. So 1,400 Israelis are killed. 10,000 Palestinians are killed. So you're looking at 1,400 to 10,000 is the scale. And they call it Israel Hamas. Well, let's see who's getting killed here. All right, since Hamas is this so-called terror organization that's responsible for all these deaths, right? So let's take a look at Hamas. Death toll in Israeli-Palestinian conflicts over the 15 years. You see there's a clear separation. You can see orange. You could barely see purple. That's how small it is in scale to how many Palestinians are getting killed. All right. Now, here's what we want to look at. Children are nearly half of all casualties. 47% were under 18 years of age, according to the health ministry, as of November 6th. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. How can you justify that? You talking about a war against Hamas? So Hamas is ran by children? 47%? That's ridiculous, man. And this is why, it used to be, everybody was siding with Israel. But now, the other nations are like, I ain't dealing with that. The other nations like, I don't know about that. All right, so let's take a look at something else. The next thing I want to look at is I want to look at where America's sending their money. So let me pull that up. Bear with me 1 second before we get in this class. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. Let me pull up the article. Find it. Here it is. All right, how much aid does the U.S. give? All right, so we're gonna do a new share. Here we go. So this is according to usafacts.org. It says, how much aid does the U.S. give to Israel? All right, so the United States committed over 3.3 billion in foreign assistance to Israel in 2022. So this is just 2022. 3.3 billion. The most recent year for which data exists. About 8.8 million of that went toward the country's economy, while 99.7% of the aid went to Israeli military. So 99% of the money of the billions we send in is going to their military. The same military that's killing nearly half of their fatalities being children. So this is what we supporting when we saying, hey, pray for Israel, the country, and support the United States and give money to Israel because they're being killed. Well, we just looked at the numbers. We just took a look at the numbers. We saw the numbers weren't reflecting that. Palestinians are getting killed, but it's called a Israel-Hamas war, right? All right, so let's keep looking. So Israel received the second largest amount of U.S. aid in 2022 after Ukraine, where the U.S. committed 12.4 billion. So Ukraine is the same group of people that brought them over here. Ukraine. So Ukraine is the same group of people that brought them here to Israel. Same group of people. All right. So them same group of people, you giving 12.4 billion to, and then another 8.8 or something like that to Israel. All right. Wow. The two countries received 4.8% and 18.1% respectively of all foreign aid granted that year. So look at this. Since World War II, the U.S. has provided more foreign aid to Israel than to any other country. So you sending 317 billion. What is that? 317.9 billion. Let's zoom in. $317.9 billion has been sent to Israel, with 97% of that going to military. So what are you really supporting? You supporting a country, or you supporting a war somewhere? You trying to have a war somewhere. All right. So now as we keep scrolling down, the U.S. sent 96 billion in economic aid in 1949, a year after passing the Marshall Plan. All right, we don't care about that. Let's see what else we got. Wow, between 1951 and 2022, Israel has received 92.7 billion in U.S. economic aid. Wow. So all our money since World War II has been going to Israel. All right. So those are the facts. So let's keep it moving. How does this affect us? All right. Let's talk about another situation. We have a lady by the name of Judith Varnell. What is it? Judith Varney Shorer. She's the Israeli Consul General in Atlanta, Georgia. And she's been caught on this video that was leaked out from a documentary where she's talking about the greatest threat to the to Israel. So let's take a look at that real quick. Now, I'm not gonna play the video We have the video on Israelite Gatherings page. So if anybody wants to see it, you can go to our page and you can check it out. Let me share the screen. All right. If anybody wants to see it, you can go to our page on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Israelites Gathering. There's the link there, and you can also go from there into the actual YouTube video. But in this video, in this documentary, she says, quote unquote, the major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the Black community, quote unquote. That is exactly what she said. What does the Black young generation have to do with the problem with Israel? Right? She says Black Lives Matter starts there. So that's their beef. Their beef is with this Black Lives Matter organization, and they're saying the organization starts at the young generation of the Black community. So that's their problem, their major problem, way over there in a country they don't belong in. Their problem is the young Black community. And which community is she talking about? She talking about Israel? Because she's here in Atlanta, Georgia, where Black Lives Matter. We was here when Black Lives Matter was marching, and when they was marching, I mean, I didn't really see a lot of Black people, to be honest with you. Saw a lot of different other people there, but regardless, when she's the council here in Atlanta, she's seeing Black people. So this young Black community she talking about is here. So they're trying to create a narrative that somehow the Black people here or the Black people there are the problem. They not the ones killing people. And this is what we have to also understand, and why we have to have some compassion. Now, we went over some of the prophecies regarding, them, Gaza being, receiving judgment for siding against Israel and, things of that nature. We went over all that. But what we have to also consider is in those territories, you have a lot of Afro-Palestinians. So we have a video about that on our page as well that talks about the Afro-Palestinians, which were comprised of many of the poor people that were left. And the scripts in First Kings talks about that. First Kings 24 and First Kings 25 talks about how the poor people, the farmers, the people that did the harvest and stuff like that, they were left behind in northern Israel. And those are the people that many of those people are who the Afro-Palestinians are to this day. And they called niggas, just like we call here. They call them Kushi, which is the term for nigga for them over there. So we have to consider that while, the Palestinians are getting slaughtered over there. We have to look at that. All right. So now, again, how does this affect us? So the last thing we're going to talk about before we get in this class is we're going to talk about how the U.S. for the next 90 days has decided to halt all their gun and ammunition shipments. So they're not going to be exporting any guns for the next 90 days. And that's kind of different, because they'll say, hey, we're not going to send it to the Middle East, or we're not going to do this. But to most countries, they're saying we are not shipping out any bullets or guns. So let's take a look at that. That's concerning. Why is that concerning? Let's take a look. So let me share the screen real quick. All right, so new share. Here we go. All right, so the U.S. halts civilian firearms and ammunition exports for 90 days. So this was October 29th. So the United States for the next 90 days will no longer issue new export licenses for ammunition and firearms to non-governmental users globally, except for those in select locations, the Commerce Department said. So they ain't shipping out none of this stuff or giving licenses except for select locations. I wonder what select locations they will do. It says the agency will still review non-governmental export permits to certain countries, including Ukraine, and you get it, Israel, both of which are at war after being invaded. And they keep talking about this Israel being invaded. Yeah, Israel was attacked, but Israel has been attacking Palestine. They've been attacking each other. So why do we keep making it like, oh, Ukraine just was just attacked out of nowhere. Oh, Israel was just attacked out of nowhere. This is a conflict between two countries. It's a war. But again, nobody wants to talk about the death toll. Look at the numbers. So they're halting the export of all these items, except for those few countries, which they say they'll likely give those exports to. They saving their stuff here for a reason. Something's coming. Remember Matthew 24, rumors of wars and wars and rumors of wars. So this is like a rumor of war because you holding up all your ammunition when there's about to be a problem. So keep that in mind. These are the things they ain't really talking about, but these are the things that we got to consider as we prepare moving forward. All right, so now we can go ahead and get into the class. Praise Yah. Again, we are Savior Word of Yah, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Israel's, our weekly Bible study. And the topic for this week is speaking life. So again, like we introed, we got to be very careful what we speak. We got to make sure that we're speaking according to, what we're supposed to be doing as watchmen. We got to speak up. We got to learn when to keep our mouths shut, and we got to know the right things to say. And certain times it says, when we're brought up under counsel, that, we should just be patient, and the Holy Spirit will come within that hour and give us what to say. So these are the things that we want to consider. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So praise Yah. We're going to open up in Isaiah chapter 28. Yeshaya chapter 28. And we're going to read verses 5 through 13. All right. And pull up the scripts. All right. Praise Yah. So we're at Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 28. And we're going to read verses 5 through 13. In that day shall Yahweh of hosts be for a crown of glory and for a diadem of beauty unto the residue of his people, and for a spirit of judgment to him that sits in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the battle to the gate. But they also have erred through wine and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. So, when we're talking about this wine and this strong drink, it's not only physical and literal wine and strong drink, but it's also talking about these doctrines, these pagan rituals and all these things of the nations around which they thought they were going to benefit some kind of way from. All of those things are that strong wine. So these are things or that knowledge that they are seeking so diligently instead of seeking the knowledge of the Most High. And that causes them to stumble in judgment because they're making judgments based on other things, personal gain, selfish reasons versus the order that Yah gave us. Verse 8, for all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so there is no place clean. Whom shall he teach knowledge? So he's setting the stage here. This is what our leadership looks like. Our priests, our prophets, no judgment. They're stumbling, filthy, full of vomit, unclean. This whole place is unclean. Sounds a lot like where we at right now. All right. So when we're in that situation, Yah says, verse 9, whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? So why is he talking about doctrine right after he was just talking about vomit and stumbling in judgment and strong wine? Because this doctrine is what he's talking about. These weird doctrines. Okay, so verse 9, whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So who's he going to teach this knowledge? And who is he going to make somebody understand? Those that are off the baby stuff, off the milk, off their mother's breasts. They're not functioning. They're not left behind. So many of us are still, we're not even on the mother's breast yet. We're not even born yet because we don't even know who we are. We don't even know who our God is. We just know who we've been presented with. So he can't teach strong doctrine and he can't give them understanding if they can't get off the breast. So verse 10, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And these verses are some of the most important verses in this Bible. YAH is one of my favorite prophets in the book because he's letting you know how to understand his Bible. It says, for precept must be upon precept. So you can't just take a precept, right? So let's see what a precept is. You can't just take a command, right? An injunction or command, right? And just say this the command. Well, where's the other? Where's the rest of it? Where's the two witnesses? Where's the judgment? You're saying this is the sin. Well, where's the judgment? Or you're saying here's the judgment. Where's the sin? Things must be precept upon precept, command upon command, command upon command, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And there it is. There's the strong secret of this word is that everything ain't linear. Line upon line, line upon line, line upon line, up straight down. No, it says here a little and there a little. So he's not going to give his understanding to lazy readers or people that don't really want to understand this or just want to prove somebody wrong. Because you have to go line upon line, precept upon precept. You got to follow multiple commands that work together for one understanding. And get a little bit here in the Old Testament, a little bit in the New Testament, a little bit in the letters of the New Testament, a little bit in the prophets of the Old Testament. You got to get a little bit of Psalms. You got to get a little bit of Revelation. You got to put these things together. It builds a puzzle and gives you a clearer picture. And even with all that, we still don't get the complete picture. But it's giving us the formula. He said, verse 11, for with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. So in English, because this language is retarded, a lot of us have stammering lips. We stutter a little bit. We have little vocal pauses, some worse than others. But it's not natural to us because it's backwards. Even how we write is backwards, left to right. The whole world is doing right to left because we right-handed, most of us, right? But then no, they got us moving left to right. It's backwards. So of course we're going to have stammering lips. And another tongue is another language. That's this English. English is the most widely understood language in the world for this Bible, with Spanish being number 2. So another language, we're going to get this. We're not getting this in pure Hebrew like we had before. Even with those in Israel getting that modern Hebrew, that's not even pure. So verse 12, to whom he said, this is the rest wherewith you may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. But the word, okay, because that's your rest, this word, the spirit. All right. But the word of Yah, Mashiach, was unto them precept upon precept, command upon command, precept upon precept, command upon command, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Okay. So if you stop reading, then you miss this next part, which is real important. Right? Line upon line, here a little, there and there a little, right? that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. So this is what happens when you don't read the book. You don't study in entirety. You cherry pick, or you half behind it. You gonna fall backward, be broken and snared and taken, because you can't just read one chapter. You can't just read Deuteronomy 28 and think you just gonna be righteous. You got to read the whole book. You got to get some of these other books that come with it. Because remember, the King James is just the King James Version. Where did they get that from? They're older books. But you can start with the 1611, get an understanding of that, so that you are not broken and snared and taken, fallen backwards. All right, so we got to be careful how we ingest this word, here a little, there a little. Make sure that we get a good understanding, so that when we speak, we're not speaking false information, because we only speak in one cherry pick script that justifies whatever sin we want to do. All right. So because we didn't follow these line upon lines, here a little, there a little, y'all said, okay, you want to follow this other foolishness? You want to follow this strong doctrine that your priests and your prophets want to do? Go ahead. I'm gonna give it to you. Let's go to Ezekiel, Yechezkel, chapter 20, and we're going to read 19 through 26. So we're going through Ezekiel, Yechezkel, chapter 20, and we're going to read 19 through 26. Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 19. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and hallow my Shabbats, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that you may know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim. So this Shabbat is a sign. It's not only a sign to Yah, but it's for us, so that we know that Yahweh is our Elohim, because this is how we know we hallow his Shabbats. Verse 21, notwithstanding, the children rebelled against me. They walked not in my statutes, neither kept my judgments to do them, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. They polluted my Shabbats. Then I said, I would pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the wilderness. Nevertheless, I withdrew my hand and wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted in the sight of the heathen, in whose sight I brought them forth. I lifted up my hand unto them also in the wilderness, that I would scatter them among the heathen and disperse them through the countries, because they had not executed my judgments, but had despised my statutes and polluted my Shabbats, and their eyes were after their fathers' idols. Okay, so since we want to be like our forefathers, we want to do the same foolishness, we want to get drunk on the same strong drinking doctrine. Okay. All right, verse 25. Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good, and judgments whereby they should not live. So he said, all right, that's what you want. You show yourself to Yah upright, he gonna show himself upright to you. You show yourself to Yah forward, he gonna show himself forward to you. So you chase after the foolishness, he gonna give it to you. He gonna give you that reprobate mind, since that's what you want, right? We gonna get into that later. Verse 26, and I polluted them in their own gifts. So while you were a strong man to Yah, now you a strong man for the adversary, the devil, strong against your family, strong to kill yourself. And that they caused to pass through the fire all that opened the womb, that I might make them desolate, to the end that they might know that I am Yahweh. So they given up their children to that pagan god Molech, sacrificing their children, literally. Verse 27. Okay, so we're going to end there. So again, because we did not want to take his words, we didn't want to live by it. He said, here, take this foolishness. And now that's why we got all these weird doctrines. I had this one brother today. He trying to argue with me, telling me that the Passover, we left in the daytime in Passover. I'm showing the brother the script. I'm like, brother, it say right here we left in the night. It was midnight. We got woke up at midnight. It don't mention anything about the morning or the sun rising and us leaving. How's that gonna be? And the brother just cussing and calling, doing all this that we wasn't cussing, but he carrying on. I just all right, hey, post the script and keep it moving. You get polluted in your own gifts if you get caught into all that back and forth with people. But we got to learn these scripts, because if we teaching these weird doctrines to people, we starting fires. This ain't a laughing matter. Passover's so important. He said if we miss the first one, for uncleanness, take the second one the next month, the exact same time. So these ain't joking matters. All right, so let's move forward. Let's go to Sirach chapter 32. So we going into the Apocrypha, Sirach chapter 32. All right, so we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus. That's in the 1611. Going to the book of Sirach. Sirach